Good morning, everyone, and welcome to what I think is our fourth assembly that I've done during this lockdown period. And today, what I want us to think about is what you have been spending your time during lockdown doing and what you're going to continue spending your time doing. I mean, perhaps you're watching a little bit more TV than you normally would, or a lot more TV than you normally would. Maybe you're perfecting your gaming technique, or perhaps you're just sitting around feeling quite bored. Or maybe you've come up with an invention that is going to last for centuries from now, that people will still be using 350 years from now, improving mankind during that time. Well, this morning I've got three objects with me. I've got a picture of an apple. There we go, picture of an apple. Didn't have a real apple because I forgot to bring one in with me today. I've got a glass prism. You can see it there, glass prism, and I've got a £2 coin. There we go, £2 coin. And what I'd like to know is what those three objects have in common. It's not an easy question, but actually they all have one person in common, Sir Isaac Newton. Now, Sir Isaac Newton, you've probably heard of him. He was a gifted scientist and mathematician. He was also a Christian. He's probably best known for his explanation of the laws of gravity. This was stimulated one day when he was looking out and he saw an apple fall to the ground. And he asked himself why it fell down in a straight line, and this helped him to formulate his theory of gravity. He achieved many other scientific discoveries in his life. One of them involved the glass prism. He discovered that white light, when it hits a glass prism at a certain angle, can be split into a spectrum like a rainbow. So something else that he achieved in his life. It doesn't explain the £2 coin, though. I'll come to that a little bit later. Now, at one point during Sir Isaac's life, in the year 1665, Newton made a lot of scientific discoveries. And life for him wasn't that different then to what it is for us now. Because 1665 was the year of the Great Plague in London. And Sir Isaac Newton basically placed himself into lockdown at a place called Woolsthorpe, which is in Lincolnshire. So Newton had gone to a place of relative safety in the countryside, and he basically stayed there the whole time, and he set his mind to work. Now, during that time, Newton developed his theories on calculus, which is some really important mathematical discoveries. He split light using a glass prism in the dark room that he was in, creating that spectrum, that rainbow. And in particular, he asked himself the question, how does the universe work? And it was while he was in this lockdown period that he saw the apple fall from the tree to the ground, and he developed his theories of gravity and his laws of motion. Basically, he achieved, during his time in lockdown, things that 350 years later are still taught in schools to contribute towards our understanding of science. So the question is, what are you going to spend your lockdown doing? What can you achieve that will stay with mankind for years? Now, I did say I'd come back to the £2 coin. What does this have to do with Isaac Newton? Well, a £2 coin has an inscription around the edge of it. And I don't think you can probably quite see it on the camera, but it has an inscription around the edge of it, which is attributed to Newton. Have a look next time you get a £2 coin. And it says on the £2 coin, standing on the shoulders of giants. Now, Newton is thought of as a genius, but he said that he couldn't have achieved what he did without building on the achievements of others. In a letter, he said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." So the next time you see a £2 coin, think of Sir Isaac Newton and his achievements. And I want you to think about what you can achieve during this lockdown. What great things can you achieve that others you achieve to build on what others have done? Now, Newton split light using a glass prism to form a spectrum, which is like a rainbow. And I'm sure that, like I have, many of you have been out clapping for key workers, and in particular for workers from the NHS and social care every Thursday. And I know that a lot of you have rainbows in your windows. I see them as I drive into work each day. I'm going to say a prayer now that says a big thank you to those key workers at this time. Holy God, we remember all those who are working to keep things going, those working in the NHS and those around it helping to keep things working, those keeping our streets clean and collecting our rubbish, those harvesting, delivering and selling the food in our shops, those people keeping us secure and our utilities functioning, those looking after the children of key workers, those helping to care for the elderly and vulnerable, and to the clergy of all religions seeking to provide ministry in these difficult times. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen. I hope you have another good week. And if you come up with any amazing inventions that are going to last be with mankind for the next 350 years, I would love to hear about them. Thanks.